Morning, ladies. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning, Tarba. I feel like we're in school. Hi, my name is Susan Ma, and we also have the fabulous.
I'm Laura O'Donnell.
And we are results coaches that help entrepreneurs break through to prosperity.
Brilliant. I have a question for you today. It's about effortless. I want to know about effortless because people are talking about effortless, and I know, Susan, you've been talking about it very recently, as well as Laura. So the first thing I'm going to ask is, what do you mean by effortless?
Well, I'm going to chime in there. It's actually the effortless way. It's, for me, a go-to chapter in Neville Goddard's The Power of Awareness. It's an incredible book. Chapter 14, The Effortless Way, I'm just reading over and over and over again because repetition just gets all that information into your subconscious in the first place. And every time I read it, I get something new out of it because it's not that the text changes, but I, as a person, have changed. And through my experiences, I'm looking at this and thinking, wow, this is really deep stuff. It's only 2 pages long. So the long and short of it, the effortless way. The first line in the chapter starts off with, the principle of least action governs everything in physics, from the path of a planet to the path of a pulse of light. And I just love that line.
It's powerful, isn't it?
It's extraordinary. And one of the, in essence, I mean, what does the effortless way speak to you when you hear it? What do you feel?
Easy.
Yeah, exactly. The easiest route, something that takes the minimum amount of effort over the minimum amount of time to achieve what you want in your goals in your life, whatever you want to create. And that's just such a super cool concept, but it's a principle, meaning it's a law, it's an idea. And more than an idea, it's actually something that if you apply it in the correct way, if you're aware of the possibility that something could be effortless, it opens up the possibility that whatever you're working on is effortless. How does that sound?
That sounds really juicy. My brain is thinking there are people who are new to, well, they're new to this concept. Could you give me a couple of examples, or maybe even an example that you've found in your own life regarding the effortless way?
Okay, well, I don't know if I speak for most entrepreneurs, but I'm aware of some that may have resistance to social media. And some may fly with it. I guess it mostly depends on whether you're millennial or not. And I know a few entrepreneurs that struggle with social media. They prefer the face-to-face contact, and obviously with COVID, we've needed to go online and make ourselves visible, make our services visible online. And if you're like, oh, I can't do social media, I don't know what to do, what do I say? I'm posting things about my life, is anyone watching? And just that very self-talk is an attitude you have towards something that's very important and instrumental in your business. So what if we applied the principle of the effortless way to a very vital strategy within your business? What if you could open up, first of all, open up your mind to the possibility, hang on, this is effortless, this is easy. Would you not then start to create ideas of how to make this effortless and easy, rather than living with these thoughts of, you know what, this is really exhausting. What do I say now? What content do I create? It takes too much time. We want to move against those thoughts, which are a kind of paradigm. They're repetitive thoughts that you may have ingrained over a period of time because you've got this viewpoint, this perspective about social media. But then reading the effortless way, first of all, reading it, just read it, first of all, it's only a couple of pages, will help basically garner new ways of looking at something. So that's the first thing I would say. have a different perspective about something, have an effortless perspective about something that is causing you angst in your business or any area of your life.
That's making me think about pre-pandemic. A lot of us were going into the office, and if you said, let's have, very few would have done things over Zoom, for example, which is what we're doing right now. This is effortless. I'm not having to go to your house. I'm not coming to your house. So this is what I'm thinking. This is for me is effortless. And people, I think, in the business world, the entrepreneurs, they've discovered, they probably haven't had much choice, but they've discovered a new way to have meetings, to have conversations, and it's pretty much virtual. So I love that. I really love the fact that I'm thinking about effortless right now. And I was scratching my head earlier, if I'm going to be honest. I'm thinking, okay, what could we use as an example? And now I understand. It's the pennies actually really has dropped. And going back to me in the kitchen, I was fighting. I know this is not relevant really, but it's sort of. I was fighting with a garlic crusher. I was trying to put the thing back in. I know, and I was trying to smack the thing back in, and I got a rolling pin, and I was doing that. All I needed to do was turn my garlic crusher the other way and then slip it through the bottom. So, it's finding a different way of doing it. And well,
it's like opening up the jam jar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. You have to open up your mind first to the possibility that there is another way. And the thing is that we as human beings operate on a very habitual basis. We are creatures of habit. And I might have said before, and I like repeating this because it's really important to drill this home, that 98% of our behaviors are on automatic throughout the day. So if you're having a go at something and you're banging your head at a particular problem or some kind of strategy you're trying to put forward, something where you're meeting resistance, but you're not changing your approach, you're not changing your attitude to it. Rather, the first step is awareness, hence the book being called The Power of Awareness. The first step is awareness, to stop and think and just look at what you're doing, and then let's see how can we go effortless. But it goes a lot deeper than that. And I feel like I'm taking a lot of airtime. Do you have anything to add, Laura?
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And with also what Tarba was saying, with actually the power of Zoom now that all entrepreneurs have discovered being in lockdown. I mean, you think of how effortless it is now to not have to go in your car, sit in traffic, go to meetings, pay for parking, and it's all the stresses that you get along the way. Now, how easy is it just to relax in your own house, being prepared, having that little bit extra time to collect yourself together in the mornings? I find it obviously a bit more difficult with the children. So what I planned though, I changed my mind. I read The Effortless Way and I really thought about it. I thought about being conscious in the present moment. I thought, how can I save minutes in the morning? How can I save doing all the housework myself? What is it that I can apply effortlessly to help myself out on a daily basis? So what I decided to do was, with the children in the mornings, they all are in charge of their own rooms and their own plates and their own dishes. When they have their breakfast, they'll wash up their own dishes and put them away. When they've got up in the mornings, they will make their own beds. Their rooms will be immaculate. They'll go and brush their teeth, do their hair, and then wait for me downstairs for us to go to school. So I've applied that, which has now cut out about 45 minutes each day of just housework. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't really like housework. It's quite stressful. You've got the Hoover, you're constantly doing stuff. If we all delegate and we're conscious about what we're doing, it's so easy. I can get up now, my house is still clean from the night before. It's absolutely effortless. Now, if we can apply this, being in a family, work, anything like that, think of how much stress-free and easier your life is. There's so many ways that you can make this happen.
I've got another, sorry, I know you want to chime in another question, Tarba, but I've got another perspective on the effortless way, which is a much deeper meaning. And what we've just discussed there are practical ways of like, well, okay, let's first stop. Like I'm banging my head against something, let's stop, let's evaluate, and then ask ourselves the question, how do I make this easier on myself? What can I do? What have I not tried before? And to make something effortless. That's the practical step. There's a second, deeper, sort of inner work, practical step to achieving the effortless way. As I said, we are operating on a very habitual way. So how we move about a day, where, you know, when we have our coffees in the day, how productive we are at work, the route we take when we used to commute, you know, is a specific way. We're all on automatic. And this is all because we've impressed these thoughts into our subconscious mind over and over again. The route to work is, I've gone down this route and I will always go down this route. And you're just on this sort of pathway because you've done it so many times. You can just do it without even thinking about it. You know, the school run route, the office route, whichever way. Now, the effortless way is, well, say if I've been banging my head about social media, and I'm saying to myself, I'm no good at social media. I don't like it. All of these thoughts are impressing on why you're never going to be good at social media, why your social media presence, your storefront isn't, you know, as you would like it to be. And the way that, the thing is, how do you switch? Because yes, you can make a conscious stop, pause, and say, yes, how do I do this better? But also you can reprogram yourself, which actually makes you fall in love with social media. Can you imagine that? What if you could reprogram yourself to say, actually, I love social media. I love going on lives. I can just zip out content from my heart with no makeup on and go on a live. So how do you reprogram yourself? And that is also in this chapter. And it's talking about that the effortless way is how you move from one state of consciousness, i.e., I hate social media, to a desired state. How do you move to the desired state with the least amount of effort, with the least amount of time? You do that with the power of assumption. What is the power of assumption? You're using your imagination. I'm imagining myself to be so damn good at my Hootsuite and Planoly and my Instagram grid. I imagine myself as this person, or as the person who can delegate and have amazing people on my team. I can create any situation in my imagination, how I'm promoting my business online visibly. And so that is effortless. When you sit still, be still, least action, it's quoted in the chapter, be still, that means meditate, and then use the power of assumption, your imagination, and go away to a place, a desired state of where you want to be, hold that vision, and then you bring whatever version of yourself in that future version to your present state.
Wow.
You do that repeatedly, you're going to find one day it's going to click that social media is effortless.
It's almost like you're falling in love with the process, because when you're saying you can't, or I don't enjoy it, that's negative. You've taken a negative, and it's almost like you're going through and you're finding the positive. So as you say, even if you delegate it, you're still falling in love with the process, even if somebody might do it or you might do it yourself. But it's I guess it's reprogramming yourself into, as you said, falling into love.
Look, the thing is that why would you not be in love with it if you're not in love with it? Because you have a business. Why are you in that business? Because either you're talented and passionate about the service that you're giving, and ergo you're being rewarded by it. You're being compensated. There's a law of compensation there for doing good, servicing good, providing a much needed service to somebody in the world to relieve their social media anxiety, maybe. Yeah, essentially, when you're doing that, sorry, I've lost my train of thought. Can you help me out, Tarba? I always do this. I'm so excited.
And then let's go with the flow. I was just saying that you're going from a negative state to a positive, because you're kind of falling in love. You're accessing that subconscious, and you're falling in love with something that you previously didn't you just, I guess you had an assumption about it, weren't you?
Yeah.
An awareness where you're like, oh, I'm not very good at social media, and you probably won't even put that much effort. Whereas if you're saying I'm more passionate about it, or I'm more interested about it, or it's changing a state from negative to positive, and in positive you get more of a natural energy, a buzz.
Well, again, just going on. Sorry, I just want to finish that point I had, which was like, why would you not be in love with social media when it's actually promoting yourself? You need to get yourself out there. So take a different perspective about it. So there's lots of different ideas I'm introducing here beyond the effortless way. But if you take a different perspective about why, don't hate it, love it, because you're being visible and people need to know about you and your services. So be proud of it and find a way to fall in love with it. Make it effortless. Sorry, Laura, go ahead.
It's all right, you just carry on.
I'm just passionate about it. I've been reading it every day for days and days and days.
No, I just love it. I'm in absolutely, in awe of it all, because since obviously applying this to my life's changed immensely. It's just that little bit easier every single day. And I love the fact of, like what you're saying about social media. Everyone's got sort of fears or feelings that, they're not good enough necessarily on social media, or, they don't feel confident enough about what they're doing. But if you change your thought process, you change your pattern, you're in the present moment, you understand it, and you go about it the way that we're discussing now in an effortless way, things will be so much easier. You get to touch the lives and communicate better with your clients, and people get to see the real you. And this is what I love about it. We want to see the real person behind the business. We want to see you. And that's what's special about the effortless way. Bring it out, show us who you are. It doesn't matter, what you say, what you do, just show us you, show us your business. Tell us about it. We want to get to know you as a person as well as your business.
I was thinking about, the effortless way in my head is this, there's the word easy, but I'm also, I feel like I'd gain more time if I could fine tune. Would that be fair to say? I would get more time in my life?
Absolutely, absolutely. So bearing in mind, obviously, I know I go back to the children, but obviously we're busy parents, we all work, we've got children, we've got other commitments, I have horses. The more time I save throughout the day, so remember I said about the housework, I can save 45 minutes in the mornings. That's 45 minutes I then spend with the horses and taking the children after work to ride the horses. Then it's the commute to places that I have to go to in a day for my job, for my business. So I always work out the route. How many minutes can I save just by going this way or just by doing this? As long as I'm present and conscious of what's going on around me at that specific time, I can save at least 1 to 2 hours a day by cutting certain things. Night before, let's be organized. Let's think how much effortless the next day can be. So I'll make up the kids, I'll do 2 dinners for the kids, put them in the microwave, or I'll organize to put some food in the slow cooker so it's ready for tea. That is took my dinner out of the way for the next day. There's no problem in that. There's no time cooking, there's no time waiting, nothing, it's done. It's ready to eat at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. So that saved me more time in prepping and cooking and doing all that. So just by reprogramming and remapping your mind of how you can get these things done, and it's a lot to do with effortless as well, but it's being more organized as well. Really concentrate on being present and figure out each day, I've got this amount of time. I want to do this, but how can I save time here? Think about that and how many minutes you can shave off in the day, and you'll be shocked. You really will. And it makes life easy. Obviously, it's effortless, but it's so easy and it's so calm as well. We're not getting stressed out. There's no time for that. You're relaxed, you're getting your work done, and then you've also got a few hours of free time to do whatever you want. And that's where you need to be.
Can you remind me, how many degrees have you got?
I've got 3 degrees and I'm doing my master's in education, as well as working full-time, and 5 kids and 3 horses and 2 sheepdogs and 2 fish.
So that's
and I still have spare time.
But I'm also going to add in there, that's amazing, by the way, Laura. So if you're a shining example of, making things effortless, because you have to. But there are some people that may have a way of life, and they've been sort of like, they are a disorganized person because they've never made their beds since being a kid or something. And it's just sort of one of those things, you throw your clothes here and there. You got giving yourself more work, but it's because it's a paradigm. It's a way that you learned from before. And yeah, maybe it's all very well also like I think what Laura said is very valid. But if you're all in a disorganized state of mind, you're saying, right, well, just get organized. How do you flip from one thing to another? And that's where the reprogramming comes in, because we all have this, what we call a cybernetic mechanism, technical word, in our subconscious mind. And it sets the temperature of our life. It sets the temperature of our order in our life. It sets the temperature of your income. It sets the temperature of how you present yourself to the world, in every area of your life. And the effortless way, if you follow this chapter and really understand what Neville Goddard is trying to share here, is that actually you can cut all of this stuff out, any overwhelm, any stress and anxiety, or any state you don't want to be, the state that you're presently in, and go with your imagination. Anyone can do that. Anyone, if you're disorganized or organized, anyone can do that. And go to a place where you go, actually, I would love to be in this place where I'm so super efficient, I'm very productive, love social media, organize my horses and kids and everything else. And everything is rosy and I'm earning this much money. You can take that state that you've created and move it into being. And I'm going to just read this, because ultimately the big takeaway from this chapter is translate your dream into being. You have to act and behave like the person you want to become, who has earned all the awards or rank or position or level or income level or any kind of impact that you want to create with your business or charity. You have to step into the shoes of being into that person if you're not being that person right now. It's an acting role, and that's part of the effortless way as well. It's like I said, it's very, very deep. It's only 2 pages.
I chime in as well. What I was thinking as well is people as well don't quite understand as well, like how to structure their day as well, the effortless way. If you actually figured out what exactly you are going to do in that day, so give yourself, some people take like 6 to 8 hours a day. I've got 6 to 8 hours a day to work on social media, do this and that. How many hours are you actually fully conscious and fully productive? How many hours could you actually save by narrowing it down? I mean, I could do my daily work in 4 hours if I fully concentrate, structure it correctly, be fully conscious and present in that moment. I can get it all done in 4 hours. Some people, if you give yourself 6 hours, it will take 6 hours. You give yourself 8 hours, it will take 8 hours. You narrow it down to 4 hours. Think of how much time you've got to yourself then as well to block out in that day. It's effortless. And that's the point as well. Why struggle and why do more work when you don't have to? If you're actually conscious and present, know what you're doing, set aside them hours. Right, I'm going to turn my phone off and concentrate solely on 1 hour on this. I'm going to solely do this for another hour, and you structure it like that. It's so much easier, and you'll get twice as much work done if you're fully focused and fully present in that moment. A lot of times, like most of us as well, we can be on autopilot at work. I'm just doing this, I'm just doing that. But really, are you actually being productive? Are you actually being productive in what you're doing? Probably not. Probably not. So like I said, consciousness, focus, set aside the hours exactly of what you want to do in them hours and get them done. And that saves you time, and that becomes more effortless as well.
You say you could say that it's effortless over time. It's
Yeah,
kind of a new
absolutely.
habit, a new routine. So that's what's going on in my head. And I was thinking, in the early days of Tarba didn't have a schedule. Tarba literally ping pong left, right, and centre. These days I have lots of diaries, but at night I tend to write roughly what I'm going to be doing. So in the morning I kind of know what I'm going to be up to, whereas before I'd be flitting back and forwards, and it's got easier and effortless.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately what we're discussing here is the inner work, the power of assumption. And what Laura talks about is the mechanics. How do we apply it in practical sense? Yes, we can meditate on it, we can imagineer, but then we still got to go and do it. So we have to act and be. So there's the two things together. But 95% of the job is the mindset piece. It's the inner state of mind that you're in. Because until you're in that state where you go, yeah, actually I can do this, I'm going to do this, then you've got a reason for being, to become more organized, if that's what the issue is, or whatever it is that you want to solve.
And a lot of people say definitely work smarter, not harder, and that's true.
100%.
And that becomes effortless.
100%. And that's what we show people to do.
I would like to, I'd like to finish up by saying thank you very much. I do need to point out something. If you notice me doing this, it wasn't assigned to you. I had this fly that was having an effortless way of trying to sit on my shoulder. So if you saw me doing that, it wasn't to do with you guys, it was the fly. So I better mention that. So I'd like to say thank you, ladies, for joining me, and have a brilliant day.
Yes, and by the way, we're doing a training series at Breakthrough to Prosperity, to your prosperity. It's 5 days on the 20th of September through to the 24th at 7 p.m. UK time. Join us on Prosperity Go-Getters, or sign up to www.prosperityacademy.co. Just thought I'd plug in there.
Thanks, Tarba.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.